Hello everyone, Draganovic here with a quick video guide on a favorite route of mine for Act 1 to farm keys from the Warden and Fields of Misery. Just a quick foreword here. The keys have a chance to drop from three separate bosses. One is in Act 1 in the Fields of Misery, the second one is in the Dalgara Oasis in Act 2, and the third one is in Stonefort in Act 3. We'll be releasing videos for all of those acts just to show you what I think is the fastest way to farm these. And of course, everyone has their own take on what the best route is. So everyone has sort of a comfort zone and favorite places to go. So for Act 1, my first go-to place is the Cemetery of the Forsaken. There's three crypts there, and if you're lucky, probably about half the time that you zone in, you will have an elite or champion pack right outside in the courtyard by the waypoint. That's a quick stack that you can acquire there. And for additional stacks, I tend to just zone into the crypts and find the very first pack that I find. And once I kill them, I move on to the next crypt, etc., etc. For this video, I did not get lucky and did not get a champion pack right outside, but I do zone into two of the crypts and I find some champion packs very early on. I like to run these on monster power 6 to 8. I find that 8 is probably where my comfort zone is with this build and my gear level. It's the best mix I find between speed and item quality and chance to get a key. For those of you that don't know, you must have a 5 stack of Nephilim Valor to even have a chance for the key to drop. That's across the board for all 3 keys. And for every level of monster power that you're running, you get an additional 10% chance for that to drop. So that's the main factor as far as what affects the drop rate. So once I'm done in the Cemetery of the Forsaken, where I know I can find 2, 3, sometimes even 4, depending on if there's events running in the crypts themselves. There's the little event where you go in and you click on the orb and a bunch of skeletons spawn. Since the recent changes in 1.05, you do get a stack of Nephilim Valor for events, environmental events that can happen in the game. And you also get a stack for opening Resplendent Chest, which is also new. Once I'm done the Cemetery of the Forsaken, I go to the next guaranteed champion or elite spawn, which is Leoric's Manor. Now here I am. As you can see, as soon as I walked out, I saw them. They're right outside. Sometimes there's 2. So, a run can go anywhere from 5 minutes to 8 minutes, depending on how lucky you get with the spawn points. I only stuck around to kill that one pack right there, and then I just go into the next area where I know I can find some guaranteed champion packs, and that would be in the Festering Woods. As you know, if you've played Act 1, you know that there's two instances right out here, and each of them contains a guaranteed spawn for an elite or a champion pack. So I tend to exploit the areas that I know have the champion packs rather than just sort of wandering and looking for champion packs. I tend to just go to the places where I know I have a good chance or a guaranteed chance, a guaranteed spawn. And in these are fairly easy to kill as well. That's usually some type of a skeleton with obviously random affixes, but it's nothing very hard to deal with. Depending on your gear and depending on how fast or how efficient you like to be, sometimes myself I like to just sort of stick around and smell the roses, if you will, and I just kind of get sidetracked with opening chests and hunting down various corners of the map. I try to be a little more efficient in this video. I try to just basically go to the spawn points. This all in all took me about 8 minutes to run. I've not cut or edited this video. This is a straight shot recording from beginning to end. and you can get fairly fast with these, and depending on the places that you go, you can get 2 or 3 stacks of Nephilim Valor before you even attempt Fields of Misery. Now, if you don't have all 5 stacks, you can go into Fields of Misery with 3 or 4, and sometimes get lucky enough to run into a couple of these, a couple of champion packs before you find the boss. And there's always things you can do to cut down this run. Like, I mean, I do a lot of unnecessary walking in this video. I could have just zoned straight out and gone back to town and some places, but I chose to just sort of walk, just to show a more realistic way of doing this. This build that I'm currently running has a couple of weaknesses. One is the reflects damage affix that you get, which is, in this champion pack right here, I get hit pretty hard. And every build has weaknesses and strengths, and mine is reflects damage. With this Hammer of the Ancients build, you tend to hit fairly hard, and you can't always mitigate all the damage. So depending on what you find on your travels when you're farming up your stacks, it's going to affect your time. You just have to be smart about what monster power you pick. You have to be conscious of what you can and can't do with your current gear and your build, and just go from there. Now here I get lucky and I find the Key Warden right away as soon as I zoned out. That's not always the case. Sometimes you just have to look around a long time, and this is sort of an unlucky happening here. I've run into a champion pack right as I find the Key Warden, so this gets a little bit hairy. But things like this can happen. There's always unexpected things that can happen on these runs. You can't, you can try to be as fast and as efficient as you want, but the game usually has different plans for you, and you just never know what you're going to encounter. I do actually get lucky in this video, and I end up finding a key, and this run is worthwhile. So an average time probably for a key run is about 8 to 10 minutes, depends on the monster power. I go usually on 8. In the interest of time for this video, I've chosen 6 just to expedite it fairly quickly. I tend to average about 10 minutes when I go on 8 or monster power 10. But again, you do what's right for you, and you play how you want to play it. I hope I've given you some ideas on how you can improve your route, or given you some ideas on where some of these things spawn. And I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and happy hunting.